This coming weekend, we've got another couple of very interesting matchups ahead of us. The whole weekend starts again with Ireland, but this time they're up against Argentina. Ireland will be hurting from their loss to the All Blacks, and Argentina would be buoyed by the impressive win that they had over the past week. But in all honesty, if you're going to back anybody except Ireland, I don't think you're wise in that regard. So I would definitely go with Ireland. I think they just have a little bit too much. They're too well organized for the Argentinian team. If the Argentinians come off with a victory, I'll be happy for them, but I'll be very shocked. It should, however, be a good weekend for Japan as well. They should beat Uruguay. They just have too much. And then the next game where Spain and Fiji play should be another win for Fiji, where they should be able to run away with it and build more confidence, probably resulting in their tour being seen as a massive success, which I'll be very happy for them, because they actually do have a number of brilliant players. If they can get more of this international exposure, and with more regularity playing against a combination of top tier teams and kind of tier 2 teams, I think they will continue to grow from strength to strength, and the next World Cup is going to be a massively interesting one there. Scotland also has an easy task. They're playing Portugal. That should be a rout as well. If you think their score against Fiji was impressive, this one is going to be a little ugly in my opinion. Then there's a very interesting matchup coming up. England versus the Springboks. That's always a massive game, especially when it's at Twickenham, and you know that the English team is hurting after a disappointing outing against Australia, after a very combative and impressive performance that they put up against New Zealand, where they should have won if they hadn't missed those multiple kicks and the drop goals and then the penalty kicks. They should have come away with the victory. However, I do believe South Africa would do their homework as well. South Africa would be hurting from the past weekend. Even though they came away with a win against Scotland, they were not impressive on the day. So it's going to be two teams really trying to put in their effort to be far more impressive on the day, with an attempt to try and turn it around and really show where they are in the pecking order overall. I do believe, though, it should still be a South African win. South Africa will build, I think, on a more conservative basis, with a focus on the scrums and the lineouts for the most part, and then build up with the expansive Tony Brown game from there on attack, which has been wonderful to watch throughout the year. The France-New Zealand game is going to be a very interesting one for a couple of reasons as well. So New Zealand would be very confident after their impressive win against Ireland. This followed a narrow win against England, where they should have lost, but they pulled it out, and they kind of showed that spirit that South Africa has over the past year or two, where regardless of how it comes, they actually get the victory. But the more important one, they really showed that they have taken a step up by winning by 10 points against a very, very brilliant Irish team. The problem is they're up against France in France. Now, France is never an easy prospect when you play them at home, and they will be quite confident after their prominent victory that they had last weekend, but they would know it is a different caliber of opponent that they would be facing. So with this change, it would be interesting to see if they can adapt and they can be a little bit more conservative in their approach and a little bit more pragmatic before they start going to their expansive game. The way that they've performed against New Zealand in recent times, I think this is going to be a massively close game. In my opinion, I do think it would still be a New Zealand win. I would not be horribly shocked if it is a France win, though. But this is going to be probably one of the most spectacular games of the weekend. The last two games of the weekend, first one is Italy versus Georgia. That would really help Italy after being pummeled this past weekend. They should win against Georgia, even though Georgia have beaten them in recent years, I believe on 2 occasions. They should be the stronger team, and they should come away with a win to just help them end the year a little bit more confidently. The last game, though, of the weekend will be Wales against Australia. Before the past weekend, Wales would have probably thought one of the games that they can definitely win would be the game against Australia. After seeing what they did to England, I think Wales would be very worried. I think the Australian team just has a little bit too much in terms of what they offer on the attack, and Wales has not evolved their defensive work as they should. They've got a lot of young players, so you need to understand that it's going to take some time for them to take that step up and to really gel and become a cohesive unit. They are building with a almost brand new team in most of the positions. So for them to build continuity, they are going to hurt now on the end of the year too, and they're going to probably be the team that gets the wooden spoon next year in the Six Nations as well. But from there, they should start pulling off a couple of decent results as well. Australia is a little bit ahead of them. They bleeded quite a number of their young stars in the World Cup. They were heavily criticized for it, but now they're in a position where a lot of these players have a lot more experience, and these players are starting to gel, and they've got the meticulous planning and the very, very high rugby intelligence of Joe Schmidt on their side. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can pull off, and I do believe that is actually going to be a relatively easy game for Australia in the end. I believe they would probably win by a margin of about 20 points in the end.